Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Q here again, Paleo Problem Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. Got another edition of Monday Nights with Mike, live stream Q&A. Ask me anything. We're over here on YouTube like we were last week because we're still on my temporary Facebook hiatus. And from what I'm seeing, I'm getting a message. I'm getting blown up on YouTube, on Facebook Messenger about the link's not working. So if you are late, so yes, everybody that's messaging me right now, I'm totally getting this. Yes. If you're coming in, hey, Sean, I see that you got coming in late. I don't know. Apparently, I'm getting messages like crazy. So Sean, I got your message. Susanna, Megan, Kim, Jody. I'm getting the notifications that yes, you guys aren't seeing it. So I don't know how to make that work. Maybe Kim can figure this out. Hold on. That's what I'm hearing. So who's here besides Shoshana? Who else is here right now besides you? Somebody else who's in. Make a note. You have the link. I just notified you went live. Yeah, so Kim's gonna be posting it on Paleo Primal on Facebook. Hold on. Yeah, getting told it's unavailable. Hold on. I'm going to my live stream on YouTube, on Facebook. Or not Facebook, on YouTube on my laptop. I gotta figure out the technical difficulties here. You can still comment down below. I'll be able to see that, guys. That'll help me out. You have the link. I just got notified you went live. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. I kind of started figuring out how Facebook worked, but now the YouTube one's a little bit different. But I see I have 6 people here right now already. People found their way over. If you could put down, comment in, say what's up. Let me know who's here. I'm trying to find the link for Kim to share onto Facebook. It says 4. I can't see who else. If you subscribe. Yeah, so if you're subscribed, everyone can subscribe and hit the bell. That'd be great. Because then it's ready to go. What do you call it? So, yeah. All right. Now that we kind of got a little bit of technical difficulties out of the way, I just texted, I just messaged Kim with the link to try and get that going. Let's see if this works. Message some people here. Send failed. Looks like you're misusing this feature by going too fast. You've been blocked from using it? Wow. Facebook is messing me up here. I cannot win. I absolutely cannot win. All right. So, yeah. What kind of questions we got today, guys? Because we got people here. I need some questions. Get me going. Let's see. Offline. Hold on. We are totally not offline. We are online right now. Okay, here we are. Stream says it's good. Megan says hi. Shoshana, it says 4. Can't see who. Okay, I got that. Live chat. All right. So, I actually didn't prep anything today in terms of questions to be running right now. So, I'm going live on my TV so my daughter can watch too. One big fam. I love it. I love it. Very cool, Shoshana. All right. Oh, man. Come on, you guys always have good questions. What do you got for me? Let me see if I can find some older questions real quick while I'm waiting. While I'm waiting for you guys to step up right now. Yeah, I got blown. So those of you joining late, I got blown. Apparently that link doesn't want to work. The one I originally sent. I sent it directly from send failure. I sent it directly from Facebook, from YouTube. It's like share now. All right, awesome. Kim posted it. Thank you very much. Hopefully that one works. So if you're on Paleo Problem Island, you can totally get that going. Yeah, Rich just hit me up too. I'm going to have to reach out to everybody afterwards and figure out what the hell happened there. These technicals are no bueno. Okay, so we have, whey protein from Body Fortress. Is it any good? Let's see. Body tech, I would have figured out. Hold on. But the other one, body fortress, whey protein. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is that the one they have at like Targets and stuff? I'm looking at the label. That looks pretty familiar. Is that the one? Tastes like crap, yeah. That's the one they usually have at like GNCs or like the CVS and stuff, right? Hold on. Available flavors, whey protein, soy protein. Where's the ingredients? Walmart. Okay, yes. I know I've seen that one on like the side of things. Oh man. All right. I'm still getting blown up about people not being able to view it. Okay, hold on. Oh man. Try to find the ingredients on this bad boy. I'm on their website, but let's see. Whey protein ingredients. Honestly, more often than not, if they have whey protein at what do you call it, Walmart, it's probably not gonna be too great. But okay, super whey protein blend, concentrate, isolate, maltodextrin, cocoa, artificial natural flavors, soy lecithin, cellulose, asulfame potassium, and sucralose. In terms of total ingredient profile, it's not the worst. The biggest problem we're looking at, besides the maltodextrin pretty early in the game, is the sucralose and the asulfame potassium. So there's the two of the artificial sweeteners. That right there is no bueno, no good. In terms of what we have there, Kim's just texted me saying there's apparently a large delay on the live chat. Kim, let me know if you heard me say that now. When you comment on the live chat, let me know. But she texted it to me. So, tastes like crap. We're getting emergency. Okay. And Jody, I saw that you wrote, my Aunt Maggie. Okay, cool. My Aunt Maggie was telling me about intermittent fasting this weekend. Can you expound on the benefits and what to eat before you start your fast and what to eat before you break your fast? Or rather, what you eat to break your fast. Because obviously, once you eat, you are breaking your fast. Because if you were to eat before you broke your fast, you would have broken your fast on that before part, and that would just not make sense, right? So, all right. Regarding on the benefits of intermittent fasting. Now, have you not looked into intermittent fasting before, Jody? Or, because I mean, you've looked into quite a bit. But either way, long and the short of it is, in terms of benefits of intermittent fasting, so intermittent fasting, well, rather fasting in general, is a very traditional part of the human condition. What I mean by that is literally every culture, every religion, pretty much every society throughout history has included some variation of fasting in terms of a ritual they conducted occasionally. Now, there's theories on why that is the case, but if you think about it just from, historical perspective, until we had the ability to store grain and to basically be able to store food, you ate when you could and you didn't when you didn't. So we generally fasted anyway. It's a pretty natural condition. So in terms of intermittent fasting, part of the benefit we're looking at is basically periods of caloric restriction, which will act as a hormetic stressor, which is basically a beneficial stress provided it's acute, a small dose. So essentially, and I see your point about the burning fat stores, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we'll build into that at least. So essentially, we found in the days of, well, I didn't. I use a collective we when I'm talking about people from the past. I didn't find anything. Hippocrates, ancient Greece, was one of the first ones to find that fasting could actually eliminate seizures. Okay, and we don't really even today fully understand the mechanisms. Part of it might have to do with improving mitochondrial function, and we'll talk about that in a second. Part of it might have to do with with reducing oxidative stress, which kind of part of the mitochondrial function, but slightly different. Part of it may have to do with just reducing inflammation in general. So there's a bunch of different potential mechanisms by which it could be beneficial. Now, light was like causing me to sweat. It was no bueno. So from there, the problem with fasting people for too long is that you fast too long, eventually, you didn't eat, you're going to die. It's called starvation, right? Bad thing. So that's how the ketogenic diet was actually originally developed, was the fact that fasting was a good thing over a long time until it wasn't. And this is not really the way I wanted to word it. So, and it's funny, I think I would have had this one down pat because I've given this particular speech a bunch of times, but the short version of it is ketogenic diet developed in order to basically mimic the benefits of fasting without having to actually fast. So part of how it's beneficial is that you're entering into a mild ketogenic state for a short-term period. Essentially, that's what our bodies do when we are in periods of both caloric and particularly carbohydrate and protein restriction. Specifically, we're talking oxaloacetate. That's a deeper rabbit hole we're not going to go into. Short version on that one is that when you do that, your body switches over to burning ketones in that short-term period. So in terms of benefits, that's going to help to reduce inflammation. It's going to help to provide alternative fuel source to the brain. And while the burning of ketones doesn't explicitly lead to increased fat oxidation in the sense of burning body fat, it's not going to automatically do that. It's not the only way to increase burning of body fat. It is a partial way, meaning that if you are also in a mild caloric deficit on top of the ketosis, you're going to definitely burn more body fat. If your calories are kind of neutral, then maybe not. One of the one of the biggest benefits, though, is the fact that by switching over to those ketones, you're generally off of the blood sugar roller coaster. You're not getting those insulin spikes. And in that process, you don't have cravings as much. So you almost naturally will reduce your caloric intake on a ketogenic diet. So you have to actively try to overeat your calories in order to overeat your calories. Yeah. All right. So in terms of the biggest benefits, what we're looking at is basically inflammation, improved cognition, getting off the blood sugar roller coaster, potentially burning some fat, and being able to be more liberal with your carbohydrate intake in terms of what you're going to eat and when than a strict ketogenic diet. So, what would be the best thing to eat before your fast? Generally speaking, it's up to you, but I like to carbohydrate backload. And again, this is all bio-individual. Everybody has their own unique differences. So personally, though, I've seen biggest benefits if you are going to be having more carbohydrate. Generally, I will backload, having that one of the last things you eat. Some people maybe do better off breaking the fast with that carbohydrate bolus. Now, if you do, depending on which way you go, you're probably going to be better off having your higher protein and or fat meals both either at the beginning or the end, opposite of when you have your highest carbohydrate meal. So the reason for that is you're entering into that ketotic state. Fats, generally speaking, aren't going to break that ketotic state. If anything, it's going to enhance it to an extent. Whereas protein, up to a certain extent, can be beneficial. Once you pass that threshold, it's going to start to produce gluconeogenesis, in which case you're going to lose some production of ketones. But again, not important for now. Short version of that is, in terms of your first meal of the day, if you are having your carbs in the backload, if you're having at nighttime, then you're going to want to have in the morning, whether it's eggs, bacon, maybe some vegetables, some fibrous vegetables. So you're not really going to have that big spike in insulin. You're going to keep that ketosis going on for a little bit longer. So even though you're breaking your fast, particularly if you're adding the protein in, it's going to go for a little bit longer. You're going to be more in that ketotic state. Whereas if you're going to go the opposite end, if you're going to have the carbohydrates in the morning, I would have more of a heavy fat and protein meal as your last meal, in which case you're going to be extending it or starting your fast a little bit earlier, sort of. If any of that made sense. I went down a lot of different rabbit holes and possibly relink things back together. Probably not. Let's see. It's run back now. Never thought. Yes, I have. I never really thought of what to eat before and after and how that would affect. Yeah, stuff. Yeah, I appreciate the self-censorship there. Whatever. Shit. That's what you said originally. I've never put. Although now I know Shoshana's daughter's on, and I feel bad. Sorry, guys. I've never bought into the whole eat every 2 hours thing. Yeah, you said that before, and that's kind of the thing. Not really a big fan of that. Some people do really well on, eating every 2 hours, because that's just the way they're lined up. And particularly if you are still on that roller coaster where you're having more on the carbohydrate end, yeah, you probably are going to need to. If you have certain conditions, thyroid conditions, you may need to have more often than not, particularly if you're unregulated. So if you are doing nothing else, if you're not improving the quality of the foods you're taking in, thyroid conditions, diabetes, mental conditions, mental health issues, you're probably going to want to eat a little bit more often until you really start focusing on the quality of your food intake. Once you start doing that, you can start switching over to a more ketotic state, in which case you're going to have the benefit of being able to go longer periods without eating and not turning into an asshole. Or actually just causing damage, hurting yourself. There's that too. Wants to know how your body knows the difference between good sugars and bad sugars. That's actually a really, really good question. So the biggest thing, Aunt Maggie with the big questions coming in huge. The short version is, sorry, I'm getting blown up right now with people messaging me on Facebook again saying it's unavailable. I'm just going to clear that out real quick, just to the people that, again. Yeah. So the short version on how your body knows the difference between good sugars, bad sugars. So it's one of those squirrely neighborhoods where, what defines good, what defines bad. And the simple answer to that is, how refined is it? And the reason why that's important is, if we are talking about, let's say, table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, even though they're not sugar, bear with me here. If we're talking about what else? Anything where it's a processed sugar, the maltodextrin, dextrose, any of those, they are stripped of vitamins and minerals. Whereas something like, say, a maple syrup, a honey, molasses, coconut sugars, most of those are going to have the vitamins and minerals that were originally in the plant along with it. So the biggest benefit we're going to see with that is that it's going to actually provide you with some type of nutrition along with it. So going back to the historical perspective again, part of the reason why we have addictive property, or we have addictive propensity towards sugary foods, towards fatty foods, towards salty foods, is the fact that they provide nutrition. And they provide a nice whack of energy. Salty is a little bit different. I'll come back to that in a second. But in terms of the fatty foods and the super sugary foods, when you found something like that, you generally didn't come across it that often. Back, in prehistoric times, back in the caveman days, yay. If you found a batch of fruit, generally speaking, you'd go and eat the whole damn thing, and then you probably wouldn't find it again for a while. Or if it was, in season, because you're not actually cultivating it, if it was in season, well, maybe that 3-month swing, you'd have a lot of fruit, and then after that, fruit's gone. What do you do now? You have to eat other things. So it was more of a treat than anything else. Same thing on the fatty ends. On the fatty ends, if we are taking down an animal, yeah, up until that point, you're gnawing on, twigs and roots, and then all of a sudden you took down that elk, you took down that antelope, and you're like, oh, cool, big meal, feast time. And it kind of ties back to the intermittent fasting idea, but essentially, because we didn't have a 7-Eleven, because we didn't have a supermarket, you didn't have a farmer's market, any of that, you had to go out and get your food. Today, I can reach to a cabinet and pull out whatever the hell I want, and so you're getting that huge whack of sugar, fat, and salt all at the same time. So that's a problem because it makes foods hyper palatable. It makes it super easy to overeat. Those are all there's and they're super normatively, meaning above normal stimulating, super normatively stimulating, hyper palatable, above palate, normal palatable, normal palate. Essentially, trying to break down words and then using the same word to break it down. It's not really it's not really helpful, is it? But so hyperpalatable is the word we're looking at. Basically, making foods so enjoyable that it shuts down your body. So, essentially, what we were talking about there is the reason why certain ones are going to be good, the sugars are going to be good, is because they're coming along with something. Your body, when it senses the sugar, when it tastes that sweet, it's expecting there to be some vitamins and minerals behind it. When it tries, so whether it's honey, it's expected something behind it. When it tries, the fruit, same thing. And when we're talking specifically about fruits, that's generally, if we're talking about a full fruit, that's generally going to be a good sugar because, again, not only are you getting the vitamins and minerals, you're also getting fiber as well as some other phytonutrients. So whether it be the various alkaloids that are in it. So you're getting different compounds, antioxidant-based compounds, that are going to be beneficial overall. Your body's expecting nutrition, and so when you just give it straight sugar and there's nothing there, it doesn't know what to do with it. Similarly, artificial sweeteners do the same thing. So, right, dates are nourishing, honey's nourishing, regular white sugar is not. Now, to be clear though, on dates, it's something, I don't know off the top of my head if you want to look it up or if you know the number, it's something ridiculous, like 13 grams of sugar per date. So, I'm a fan of dates, Lar bars were a big thing back in the day. I used to eat them by the dozen, and I actually used to make my own. And occasionally I'll do with it. I know my friend Mandy over Heirloom Kitchen makes her own. I'm sure you make some stuff with Gather, but it was one of those things where I wouldn't go crazy on dates because it's super easy. They, in and of themselves, they're mildly hyper palatable. That's part of my problem with like nut butters and stuff, because nut butters are always going to be fatty and salty, and then generally people are going to make it sweet somehow. So now you're getting to that neighborhood where it's fatty, salty, sweet. That is the deadly trifecta, putting them all together. Now, I put salt to the side for a second, and the reason why is that it's not a nutrient in the sense that it's providing energy. So it's not a caloric nutrient, but you need salt, you need potassium, you need all that stuff to be able to live. Electrolytes, right? So those are going to provide, this gets a little down the rabbit hole, but short version, they're able to provide signal transduction, basically electrical impulses between your cells, in between your muscles, to your brain. So basically, each level of the equation, it helps to provide the electricity to help provide. Wow, I'm not wording that the way I wanted to, but the short version, the electric potential. So they help to perform English. They help to form the gradient, They help to form the gradient upon which the electricity can travel back and forth. So made much less sense than what I wanted it to. Hopefully it made some kind of sense. All right. Absolutely, cannabis cultivator. You can. I'm going to go in the order I have right now, but definitely can ask a question. Go right ahead. So Megan says, will barbecue chicken wings make my muscles bigger? Depends on if you made the barbecue wings yourself or if you went and just bought them from a random, if you went to Hooters after the weigh-ins. You were like, I'm going to have the wings. Depends on the barbecue sauce. The wings themselves, yeah, protein's always a good thing. The occasional sugar from that probably isn't going to kill you. So, yeah, you'll be all right. Let's put it this way. Those barbecue chicken wings are definitely going to build your muscles bigger than the candy will. Just saying. So, Shauna, stretching, which is more beneficial before or after a workout? So, that's a great question. It depends on what your end goal is. If we are looking for basic mobility in the sense of, just being able to move around and being able to not hurt yourself before the workout, I would say a little bit of more dynamic range of motion type stuff beforehand, activation. such that you're going like a 2 to 3 second hold, going through various movements of the muscle group that you're about to hit. Then you do your normal exercise, and then from there you repeat. So I actually like a little bit of before you hit the exercise, a little bit more, hit the exercise, a little bit more, hit the exercise. And that's basically going to get the muscles activated, turned on to be able to fire properly, to A, help prevent injury, and B, to maximize your power output and your strength output. So in terms of just pure flexibility, being able to do crazy splits and stuff like that, then afterwards probably the best bet, because you're already warmed up and you're already going to be in the fatigued state, in the sense that if you stretch too much before you work out, it could be overly fatigued and that could lead to injury. I would focus more on just crushing flexibility on the after the workout. So there's benefits to both sides, and yeah, hopefully that helped. Okay, overhydration. And before I come back to that, Megan, I'm going to eat both at the same time. That sounds terrible. I would not do cotton candy on top of chicken wings. I wouldn't recommend that. All right. Overhydration. How much is too much? There are symptoms, but what is the normal? 1 gallon. So I actually have a whole video on hydration and how much water should you actually drink. That is a great question. And I'm going to pull that bad boy up real quick over here. So, short version on that. Yeah, if you drink too much water too quick, it could definitely cause a seizure. And part of that has to do with, we were talking before about electrolytes, right? And, I can actually pull that one up too. The problem is, basically, when you have too much water at the same time, you basically dilute your electrolyte content. So, in the process, your body can't transmit. So, basically that electrical transmission thing that I was saying before that came out terribly and worded absolutely horribly, that's basically what happened to you. Your brain wasn't able to properly transmit electricity to the rest of your body. And in the process, it induced that seizure. So yeah, not having enough electrolytes, very, very bad thing. So that's where drinking too much water in one shot can be a problem. Now, having said that, how much water is too much? Well, that really depends on you. So here is the link for the water video, and check it out later. You have to click off now. But essentially, it really depends. Honestly, I generally will drink as necessary if you know you're going to be engaging in rigorous activity and not be able to drink water again later, or you're going to be out in the sun a lot. You're going to the beach. Stay hydrated. Keep drinking then. If you haven't done too much, you don't really necessarily need to drink as much. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. If we're us fighters here, I know that Rich may or may not be on, but you are wife of a fighter, and then I know Megan's on. Essentially, in our cases, when we're in fight camp, you're going to want to drink more water to help load the weight up, and there's a whole process to that we could go into if we wanted to, but for now, that's one of the few cases where you are going to want to overload on water, but you don't drink it all at once. That is a problem. You drink too much water too quickly, you're going to run into a problem. Now, that comes with the caveat. How could you fix that? Add some electrolytes to that water. So, you could go and crush a whole bunch of water. If there's electrolytes in it, it shouldn't be a problem. You're generally just going to retain some and pee the rest of it out. Now, what would be too much? Depends on individuals, depends on how much you did. If you just sat there and started chugging a gallon, yeah, you could die. You could absolutely die, and that's not a good thing. That's definitely overhydrating. Don't do that. But if we're talking about, you worked out super hard, then yeah, you probably could drink it a little bit faster. I wouldn't, because you're probably getting a little nauseous and such, but yeah, no bueno. So drink too much water. Gonna eat both. Honey's nourishing. New people drinking too much damn water. I was talking to Aunt Maggie about that this weekend. That and diluting stomach acid, primarily during meals. Yes, that is a great point, Jody. And actually when I did my video on alkaline water, that's exactly my point. I don't believe alkaline water, or even there is some benefit to an alkaline diet. I'll come back to that in a second. Remind me if I forget, if I go too far off the train of thought. The problem with alkaline water, if it were to actually go and alkalize your blood, it would destroy your stomach acid in the process. And it would basically leave you open to all kinds of infections, particularly SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because your stomach acid is the first, well, one of your first layers of defense to infection, particularly through the gut, is the fact that it's so acidic that most things are going to die before they get into your system. So if you lower your stomach acid, if the pH, the alkaline water were high enough of a pH, you were alkaline enough, basic enough to change your blood pH, it would also change your stomach pH, and that would be bad. Now, part of that is what's happening if you drink too much water in general. Yeah, you're going to dilute your stomach acid. It's not going to make it alkaline. It's just going to be super diluted. Yeah. So in essence, it's not as potent because there's more water than there is acid. It's kind of like if you had vinegar, and let's say you had a glass, which of course I don't have a glass nearby to give you a nice little illustration. But you know what? Screw it. Let's go Bill Nye stats. Do a little personal thing here. All right. If we were to take water, I always pour water into this glass. Right? Let's say I went and added acid to it. Halfway. Half water, half acid. It'd be diluted. Or pretend it was acid first. Or let's say it was vinegar first. Yeah, just bear with me here. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. So, if we had acid up to here, all right? If we poured water into it, the pH wouldn't necessarily change in the... Well, it would because the water would change it a little bit. It will change it, but it's not going to change it tremendously. If, however, you went and added baking soda on top of that, then yeah, it's going to change a lot. The baking soda being so basic bitch, it's going to go and change the pH a lot. It's going to change the acidity a lot. Water being neutral will change it a little bit, but it's not going to be an exponential apart. So when you drink too much water, you could dilute. What, did we... Wait, I dropped a bunch of people because I walked away to get water? Really? Nah, screw them. Yes, your stomach is a basic bitch. So, if you do too much water, you could dilute it, which will change the pH, but not appreciably enough that's going to be a problem. Same thing with the alkaline water. It's really not doing that much. If you were to drink enough to actually change your blood pH, you'd have major, major problems because it would change it. But the aforementioned baking soda is one of the few things that you can consume that will actively and actually change your blood pH. It will have an effect. It's transient, and it's partially why you see benefit from taking baking soda after, if you have acid reflux. And if you are somebody that is susceptible to, well, if you're susceptible to acid reflux and you don't see benefit from apple cider vinegar, I'll come back to that in a second too. If you don't see benefit from that, generally speaking, what we're looking at is somebody who has issues with histamine, a histamine intolerance. So the problem with that is that a lot of fermented foods, apple cider vinegar or other things that would normally provide the acid content, also have histamines in them, and that's generally where it's going to be a problem. You're going to get a little whack of histamines in the process, so it's actually going to be counterproductive. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. I have videos on that. We can go to that if you want to look into it, whatever. For now, those people, I would recommend a little bit of baking soda. Now, the problem with that is that it's basically the same as an antacid. It's going to temporarily fix the deal, but long term, it's probably not the best if you're dealing with low stomach acid. It's kind of contributing to the problem, but in terms of short-term fix, it's probably better than most antacids. So your mileage may vary. All right. I mean, I poured the water, might as well drink it, right? Look, someone agrees with me. Ricky ain't here to believe me. I will have to do something about that. Going back, I mentioned that I would go back to alkaline diets and why I'm not a fan, but I do believe an alkaline diet would be more beneficial than alkaline water. And the reason why is I don't believe the whole alkaline acid diet has anything to do with explicitly being acid or alkaline in the sense that this food is acidic and that food is alkaline. What I think we're looking at more is going back to that electrolyte idea. And part of it has to do with which electrolytes are generally going to be included in those alkaline foods. So we're talking about lots of fruits and vegetables. Those are generally going to be rich sources of potassium, magnesium, different things that are going to make your body more alkaline. So it's not the foods themselves that are inherently changing your body's acidity or its alkalinity. What I mean by that is there are two factors that help to control how acidic your blood is and how basic your blood is, or alkaline is the other way of calling it. And that's your kidneys and your lungs. So there are two conditions. Well, there are four conditions, but two ends of each spectrum that can be severely, severely problematic. There is metabolic, or that's the kidney-related one, or respiratory, which is the lung-related one, acidosis, and alkalosis. In acidosis, your body gets too acidic, and in alkalosis, your body gets too basic. Now, it can be because of problems with the lungs, so hyperventilation can result in acidosis. So in respiratory acidosis, the reason why you're breathing a whole bunch of carbon dioxide out, so you can end up with some acidosis if we're talking about certain types of kidney issues. Now, the reason, if we have certain types of kidney issues, we can end up having renal failure, and part of that could be a metabolic acidosis. Now, the reason why acidosis and alkalosis are problematic, because the end stage of those is death. If your blood pH changes appreciably beyond its normal range, which is like literally a couple of points, you're going to die. It's a rapid emergency, like crash cart kind of emergency, like, you know, code blue, like get them into ER now because this person's going to die. So the whole acid alcohol, you're going to have this problem because your blood's acidic. No, that's not what the problem is. What we're really looking at, again, the literature isn't as extensive on this because most researchers kind of just like, no, that doesn't make sense. But what makes the most sense in terms of what we're looking at in terms of the benefits between that acid-alkaline diet is that we're eating foods that are going to provide more of those electrolytes. Now, why is that important? Well, part of that process of regulating your blood pH by your kidneys and your lungs, particularly the kidneys, is that you're expending these various electrolytes, the potassium, the magnesium, even the sodium, everything. You're expending them, okay? And you're using them up. If you use them up and you don't replace them, you could end up with some deficiencies. And when you have that deficiency state, that can then turn eventually to your body not being able to do anything about it, and then you end up with that acidosis. So, when you go on the alkaline diet, you're eating more of those vegetables. You're getting in more potassium. You're getting in more magnesium. You're getting in less chloride. And what happens? Now your body's in a micronutrient sufficient state, as much as it possibly could be, provided all the other issues. And because of that, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start looking and feeling better. And it's not because you're magically alkaline now. You're just not micronutrient deficient anymore. That's the biggest benefit we're looking at. So, yeah, there's that. What else we got, guys? We are at about the 40-minute mark right now, which a lot of that was me, like, having problems with my technical difficulties. But, yeah. What we got going on, guys? It's fun. Get all these, like, texts and stuff. I gotta really step up my game. Get, like, the full, like, microphone and get, like, turn this into, like, a real production. Turn into a call-in show, because that would be cool. Everybody's calling me. I'm trying to, like, get rid of this. Yeah, Cannabis Cultivator had a question, and then they never had a question. Unless you saw the question, Shoshana. Because I don't see... I'm looking back on the live chat comments, and I told them they could ask the question, but they never wrote a question. So cannabis cultivator, if you're still on, please ask your question. If your question is, should you cultivate cannabis? The answer to that is, if it's legal in your state, go right ahead. If it's not, cultivate hemp. Yeah, no, I don't see it either. Oh, man. All right. Any other questions, guys? I mean, I ranted and raved on different sides. A whole bunch of different things. What else we got? All right. All right. No other questions, guys? You're killing me here. Hold on. Let's answer people who are messaging me about not being able to get on. You did ask me about the two zincs. That is a common question I get a bunch. And honestly, I meant to look it back up again a little bit. And I never got around to doing it. And I truly apologize for that. And it's funny because I've looked into it a bunch of times. It's one of those ones where, for whatever reason, it just doesn't register in my head which is the better. I will look it up right now, though. I will verify myself. So the question generally is, which is better, zinc gluconate or zinc picolinate? And let's see. Ugh. He is so good at SEOs. Son of a bee. Hold on. And it's funny. It's one of those ones where I did know this at one point, and I was kind of like, I don't remember anymore. Huh. They never talked about that, huh? Oh, here we go. Linus Paul. So, quick note, point of reference. If you want a super awesome reference for micronutrients, minerals, and whatnot, the Linus Pauling Institute, which is part of the Oregon State University, is actually an excellent resource for that. And let's see what they say. Zinc gluconate. Let's see. Number of supplements are commercially available. Zinc acetate, zinc. Zinc anosmia. Huh. Yeah, I will look more into that for you. That's not a question I feel as comfortable answering right now in terms of quickly looking that up. So that's my bad. You did ask me that. I knew I had questions that I should have worked on beforehand, but I was kind of just swamped today. My semester ended yesterday, so yay me. Got to relax on that one, but we start up again next week, so I'm going to try to get a bunch of videos out this week in the process. And yeah. Okay. Benefits of coffee scrubs. So, I like them. I like pretty much anything that's going to scratch off there. Anything that's going to have a little bit of... If we're talking about, like, coffee grinds, I feel like use the sugar rubs and everything. Now, in terms of them having a benefit in the sense of... A health benefit in the sense of, like, actually changing... actually getting through the skin, this probably not going to have any transdermal effect, meaning it's not going to do much there by itself. I don't see coffee being particularly absorbable into the skin. So, regarding that, what you may want to consider, is, if it does have benefit, coffee is a rich source of antioxidants. A lot of where it sees benefit comes from compounds like caffeol and calcifediol. No, that's vitamin T. Caffeol is definitely one of them. Caffeol and kaweol. Pretty sure that's right. You can double check me, but I know caffeol is one of them. I think kaweol is the other. The two of them basically can help with mitochondrial function in the liver. So they help with detoxification capacity, basically the ability of your liver to detox, to bring things, to clear out garbage. So on the skin, It should still have some antioxidant capacity. The degree to which it will actually do that and or absorb, not too sure. Is it going to hurt? Probably not. I don't see it being a problem. The caffeine in it may actually even like help to tighten the skin a little bit. So there is potentially that benefit. So it may like help loosening. So it might be beneficial. Yeah. I wouldn't say no, don't do it. Let's see. Although I'll tell you now, coffee rub, not coffee scrub, but coffee rub is surprisingly good on steak. Like a mocha steak. So like a little bit of cacao and a little bit of coffee grinds. It's actually really good. I think I was in the Whole30, so it starts with food. I think it was in their book the first time I encountered that. Remember, I've only done it a couple of times. I don't know why I haven't done it more. It does make a good dry rub, so I highly recommend coffee grinds, as weird as it seems, on a steak. I might have to do that like this weekend. Yeah. All right. Weighted blankets. I've actually never had a weighted blanket, and in terms of whether it will help to induce a deeper sleep, you got me on that one. I'm gonna say possibly. Possibly. Honestly, what I'd see with that is that actually I have no idea on the mechanism. I'm not even gonna bullshit on that one. I got nothing. There's certain ones where I can kind of picture what the mechanism is, if I don't know for sure. I've never heard that, and I don't know. Where did you come across that concept before? Because I got nothing for that one. So Sean, while I'm waiting for you to respond to that, asked me to make for them. Some insist to help cellulite, and I just do what they want. Yeah, so I mean, in terms of cellulite, I could see that being beneficial, particularly in the case of the caffeine constricting the skin, and maybe. Hey, if it works, it works. I haven't looked much into, again, that one in particular either, how it could, but you know. From Bella, my friend from Bella Kitchen does a coffee spice steak rub. Yeah, I definitely am a fan. I definitely should do that again. I have some steaks in the freezer. I should defrost. I think I'm gonna do that. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? Let me just, while I'm waiting for that, I'll look into that weighted blanket idea, because I've never heard that. Weighted blanket sleep study. No way. Really? Huh. The more you know. Weighted blankets and sleep in autistic children. A randomized control trial. Very interesting. Use the women slow period of time, fall asleep sleeping faster, or wake up. Oh, however, the weighted blanket did not help. Huh. So it did not help children with ASD for longer periods of time. However, the weighted blanket was favored by the children and parents, and blankets were well tolerated over this period. I'd have to look more into the actual details of that particular study in of itself to show for sure. But again, that's also specifically in autistic children. But is there anything else? Weighted blankets for anxiety. Like, what? No, I've never heard this before. Huh. Very strange. So, yeah, as it's looking right now, I found one study on this. Positive effects of a weighted blanket on insomnia. Let's see. Abstract. Weighted blanket may help reduce stomach through altered tactile inputs, and thus may be provide an innovative, non-pharmacological approach and complementary tool to improve sleep quality. So most of the benefits we're seeing here, both in this and the other one, appear to be subjective in nature, that there's no, realistically, how would there be an objective from the weighted blanket? Again, that's why before I was like, I don't see a mechanism on that. Let's see. Discussion. In the present study, a chain-weighted blanket was found to be effective at improving sleep quality in recognized insomniacs, both in parameters measured objectively and... What? Oh, I was like, what would be the objective measure? The objective measures would, of course, be the time of sleep, actual time of waking up. Okay, that makes sense. All right, never mind. Never mind, fine. I guess there are objective measures. Screw you, study. All right. Excuse me, wrong pipe. All right. Okay. Do I know Shauna Young? Actually, I do. Funny enough, I met her Atlanta 2013? AHS was in Atlanta 2013. Yeah. I met her in Atlanta. Yeah, I got her book, reversing. So she has a book on reversing autism with paleo, and now runs cryotherapy biz in Colorado. Interesting. What do you call it? I had her book. I have her book. If naturopaths are a quack, call me a duck. That's actually one of my favorite pictures because I look absolutely incredible in that picture. Hold on, let me see if I can find that somewhere. I don't know how the hell I posted on here, but I could actually show you theoretically here. But yeah, it was at that conference. I was holding up her book, so yes, I do know Shauna. Interesting. I'd have to look more into it. She was quoting that study when she referenced it in the book. What other things she has regarding it besides that particular study, I don't know. I'd have to look more into it, but on the quick running through it, I didn't see too much that was like jumping out like there's the answer. But yeah, I'd definitely be interested in reaching out to her if I had Facebook right now. Although I still have Messenger, I could probably get a hold of her if I wanted to. I'll probably do that at some point. What else we got here? Let me see. What's the best way, besides water, to stay hydrated during 10-hour training? She's not a fan of what? 10-hour training? What kind of 10-hour training are we talking about? In terms of that, though, so if you absolutely would not drink water, I would definitely lean in the direction of, let's say, coconut water or junior varsity football. But 10-hour training? How you training for 10 hours, though? I played football. I never trained for 10 hours. That's crazy. But yeah, honestly, like I said, I would definitely lean in the direction of coconut water be the best bet. From there, fair enough. I would add in, so I would have the water. You could add in whether it be a little bit of fruit blended in there. Exactly, right. He beat me to the punch. So taking the water, adding fruits, and basically, what's that word? Infusing them into the drink. And actually, if you really wanted to do something crazy like that, let me see what's over here. Picked up 2 of these. This is the super fancy way of doing that. So basically, what you have here is this little infuser, which I'm gonna drop on the floor and break right now. Apparently, this thing is a pain though sometimes. Gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong with this. Essentially, though, you take this bad boy out, and you add. I don't know why it doesn't want to ever come out here sometimes. There we go. Oh no. Slow on the track. So basically, you put like either fruit or whatnot into this bad boy. This here screws off. There's a thing in there, and the water then can slide through there. So put that on. You put it into the bottle. And you have a water bottle right here. And so, just like Jody was saying there, in terms of infusing the water, either you can do actual infusions yourself, in terms of like putting it into a pitcher, or you can go get something like that. Been infusing water for 1.5 years now at my Paleo Cafe, and by far the best way is literally just blend up the fruit and put it in water. Yeah, I agree. It's a matter of if, let's say, she's at that 10-hour training, unless she's bringing like an entire gallon of that, she's probably gonna need a little bit more water. So the beautiful thing about that is that you can go and refill it. Is kind of where I'm going. So if she absolutely refuses to drink water, she can refill it with whatever water she needed to while she's there. But absolutely, if you want to bring a big gallon of that, go right ahead. Definitely a good idea. So driving me nuts, too much training, but just I'm speaking mom. Well, what do I think? I'm just the mom. Listen to mom. All right? Drink your water. Get it in. Drink the water. All right? Uh, definitely go with the infusing water, though. Whatever fruits they like, cucumber's great. Blueberries, pineapple. I like blackberries in there. Blackberries, nice mix. Citrus fruits, lemons, limes, grapefruits, oranges. All gonna be good ideas. Blending it up, though, added in, I like that idea, too. So, go to town. Have some fun. Just heard some noise in the background. But, all right, we are getting close to the hour long mark. So let's get like maybe one more question if you guys still have one. If not, we'll get ready to wrap it up. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting on that, and yes, mom's rule, you got it. Definitely love all you guys for joining this long and being some of my wonderful regulars who are coming in and always asking great questions. Anybody else who is joining us late or is watching us on the replay, love you guys too. It's awesome. If you made it this far on the replay, there's something special about you. The fact that these guys have made it the entire night here anyway, that's even crazier. But either way, I know you're all subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe over here down below. And make sure you hit that bell to get your notifications, because apparently, since I'm not on Facebook, when I try to send these messages out to people, I get this unavailable. I'm going to have to look into see what the hell that's about. Because I can send links to people, but maybe YouTube's not happy about sending the link through Messenger when I'm not personally on Messenger. I don't know how that works. I'm going to have to look into that more. That's just annoying. So, damn you, Facebook. Other than that, just hit the bell. That way you'll get notifications. I am definitely going to try. So, there's different programs that you can use to live stream from your laptop, and I'm going to try looking into some of the different ones to make it a little bit better than what we have here. This is still my iPad right now, and with the iPad, it's just a touch and go, and super easy that way. The other ones, you actually have to download some encoding software. It makes it a little bit squirrelier. Yeah, so I'm going to look into that and possibly make these a little better. I do plan on getting more videos out this week. So, yeah, maybe I'll do that zinc topic a little bit, do different things. What else we have? Yeah, they have. But right now they're so swamped with their project, which I'm not really too much at liberty to discuss, but I feel like you've heard enough about it. At least you know about it. They've talked about it on the page, but they're so swamped with that, and then potentially our fire cream project, which is a whole nother fun thing that's super close on right now. Super close. I don't feel like exactly. Yes, the longevity project. So yeah, they did. But they don't have YouTube. Theirs is different though. They use like Webinar Jam or whatever. It's not the YouTube one. It's slightly different. I've looked into it. There's options. I just haven't done it, and I tried to do it last week, and then I just never got around to looking into it more this week. And I was like, screw it. It's already 8 o'clock. I'm just gonna hop onto iPad just to do the touch and go. So either way though, yeah, you know the deal. Like and subscribe, please share with you, especially since I'm not on Facebook. Anybody that shares it, definitely helps me out, because they're not sharing. Nobody's seeing it from me anymore right now. We'll be right back. Please stand by. That's pretty cool. Sorry, just seeing little things I could do. Other than that, Jody, do you know if did your shirts ship yet? I think it said that I got a notification that you're shipped. The shirts are still available. Ask about the Caveman t-shirts over on Teespring. I am planning on releasing another design soon. It did. You got it. You have the shirt. Awesome. How's the shirt? Is it terrible quality? It's terrible, isn't it? They run small. Duly noted. Ugh. I'll have to keep that in mind. I didn't get mine yet. I ordered. Quality's fine. Excellent. I tried to pick like the best quality ones I wanted. Best quality ones that I could, or was available. But as long as it's fine, we're good. All right. Yeah. I think we are going to call it here, guys. Like I said, love you all. I am going back to my regular schedule now that, well, we'll work on it. But there's the motivation right there. So, yeah. Going to get back to my regular schedule right now during this break from school, and particularly during the beginning, because usually semesters aren't too crazy in the very first week or two. So, yeah. Guys, love you, and I almost definitely actually will this week. See you tomorrow.